Toronto's real estate market is getting a huge shift in momentum from buyers, and we're seeing home prices getting close to the levels that we saw earlier this year. So let's take a closer look right after this. Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome back to your weekly Toronto real estate market update. If this is your first time tuning in, I've been bringing you these updates every single week for the past 2 months. And within those 2 months, something really cool happened here on YouTube. I reached a milestone of 100 subscribers to my channel, which means so much to me because it's telling me that these videos are adding value to people's lives. And that's the goal that I set out for myself in the beginning when I created this channel 2 months ago. And so if you are new here, consider subscribing to my channel and hit that notification bell so that I can bring the same information and value to you every single week. And now with that said, let's get right into the update. Last week in episode 9, we talked about how some homeowners will be in a position where they'll be forced to sell their homes this year. And this can be for several reasons. But what I also think that has happened over the past few months is that some people have realized that they don't need all that square footage that they were living in, bringing them to a decision to either downsize to a smaller house or maybe even a condo apartment. In fact, due to the high level of financial uncertainty that so many families are facing right now due to unemployment, there might be some who turn to the rental market, especially with rental rates falling. According to Now Toronto, the average rent fell in March, then in April by another 5.9%, and again in May by another 0.5%. The average rent in Toronto was reported to be just over $2,100. So the combination of rents falling and family debt rising might be one of the reasons why people are selling their homes. In fact, the number of homes listed for sale is up 237% ever since the market slowed down this year. This is huge because despite the reports of falling home sales and declining prices, people have re-entered the real estate market without any doubt or fear of what's happening around the world. In fact, you can see that new home listings are at the same levels before the economic downturn. And the same trend has repeated with new condo listings hitting the market, which have gone up 178% since the lowest point this year, and well over and above the number of new listings we were seeing in March. But one thing that we can't see or determine is where these home sellers plan to move. Toronto still holds the title of being the most expensive city in Canada, so how would moving within the city solve any immediate problems with family finances? Well, if they aren't massively downsizing, then it could be possible that families are moving beyond the city limits to areas like Collingwood. According to Global News, one brokerage reported the increase in buyer activity has been massive, and 95% of the buyers they're working with are families where the pandemic has finally been the straw that broke the camel's back, and they're moving out of the city. And I think it's incredible to hear this because it shows what families are willing to do and how far they're willing to go to survive during these financially difficult times. In fact, home sales have also been on a rising trend. Ever since the lowest point in April when home sales were at 85 units sold during that week, Toronto is now seeing an increase in sales volume of 146% compared to the beginning of April. 209 homes sold last week, and I anticipate this number to go up once more sales transactions are updated in MLS. And even though we're seeing a rise in home sales, we're still nowhere close to sales volume seen during this time last year. In fact, we're down about 45% compared to 2019. And now that we're more than halfway into the year, you can really begin to see the impact COVID-19 had on Toronto's housing market. Winter normally starts the year off pretty slow and picks up all the way as we head into summer. But the sharp decline in March this year set things back maybe just a little bit. And this increase that we're seeing in sales is definitely impacting home prices as well. In fact, over the last 8 weeks, rising home prices haven't slowed down. Last week, the average home sold in Toronto for $1.4 million. And this average would have been higher, but I decided to treat 2 homes as outliers since they sold for $12 million and $13 million. We're approaching levels of home prices we saw in February when they were at their highest this year. When prices fell in April, a lot of buyers and sellers took a step back and decided to put a complete stop on their home search or sale. And while individual circumstances might have necessitated this, anyone who purchased a home during this time could have benefited from home prices lower by an average of 22%. And these trends are quite similar to what we're seeing in the condo market. But before we get into condo sales and prices, hit the like button if you're gaining value from this video. Similar to single-family homes, condos have been seeing a steady rise. Condo sales are up 112% compared compared to the lowest point seen during April. And just like single-family homes, we're nowhere near the sales volumes we saw in 2019, which might actually be a trend that we see in the second half of this year. Even though home sales are rising, they're just simply not at the levels we saw a year ago. And with new CMHC rules kicking in on July 1st for insured mortgages, this can create a temporary pause on home sales, since this in fact might push some home buyers out of the market. And if you haven't had a chance yet to check out the video on these changes, you can check the link in the card up top to watch the full video, which I'll also link in the description below. Because we could also see the reverse happen over the next few weeks, with buyers rushing into the market before these changes come into effect. And this could explain the rise in home prices that we saw, which we are also seeing in condos. Condo prices are flat compared to the previous week, but overall they are up 13% compared to April. Out of the 217 condos that sold last week, the average condo sold for $707,000, which is only $36,000 shy from the highest average we saw earlier this year. And we're already starting to see multiple offers again, not just in Toronto, but in several areas of the GTA. And with more buyers competing against each other in bidding wars, this could drive up home prices to new levels that some neighborhoods have never seen before. And this is great stimulation for the economy, which happens just in time as the GTA prepares for Phase 2 with more businesses reopening. But do you think that Phase 2 is coming a little too soon? Let me know in the comments what you think. Someone left me a comment in last week's episode and asked, when is a good time to buy? Well, considering everything we just looked at, the time to buy in Toronto was probably yesterday because home prices and buyer competition are both increasing. And normally I would say that the government might consider stepping in to control the level of activity, but there are two reasons why they might not do this. The first reason is because we need the economic stimulation. Real estate plays a huge part in economic growth, so the more transactions we see, the better for the economy. And the second reason, well, I don't think they can impose regulations on Toronto real estate alone, because CMHC reported a drop in home sales by 9 to 18%, but that's for all of Canada. So I think the Canadian government might actually be happy to see home prices going back up. Okay, now let's do a weekly pulse check of the Toronto real estate market based on what we've talked about today. We're seeing increasing levels of home sales every week, which is also impacting home prices, causing them to go up with more buyers in the market. And with an increase in sales and prices, we're also seeing more and more listings hit the market every single week, bringing us back to levels that we saw at the beginning of March. And we're seeing a lot of similarities in the condo market with condo sales rising, but condo prices have actually remained flat week over week. But with more condos hitting the market, more than what we saw at any time this year, this could potentially impact condo pricing. And this information is going to change every single week. So to keep updated on how the Toronto real estate market is changing, subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. I truly appreciate you staying updated through my videos, and I hope they bring you value. And a huge thank you goes out to those who have helped me reach my milestone of 100 subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.